Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. So today is for Father's Day. So I ended up making 2 cards. Normally I make 3 cards. One for my dad, one for my stepdad, and one for my granddad. But this year I am not making one for my actual dad. And some of you guys might be thinking, like, why? One of the main reasons is just because my dad, for literally all my life, like, I don't ever remember him not being a certain way. But recently he has just become more manipulative and just constantly causing, me to feel worthless and stuff like that. So I just, I don't feel like, celebrating him at the moment. So, it's like when I sprained my ankle, I asked him to take me to the hospital and he refused. He was going to charge me £30 to drive me to the hospital and drop me off, which FYI is about £12 for a taxi there. So my stepdad actually took me and, wheeled me around the hospital, considering he's the person that doesn't really, necessarily like kids, and also doesn't really, enjoy me spending so much time around at my mom's house. So for somebody who, wasn't necessarily given the choice of having me in his life, and he's done more than my actual dad has done, it just kind of put things into perspective for me this year. And unfortunately, my dad will not be getting anything to say thank you, because quite frankly, I have nothing to thank him for. He forgot my birthday. He didn't hate me when I needed him, and anytime something goes wrong, he will just go straight to me and blame me for it. And this is something I've never really told anybody, but my dad once told me when I was struggling at my lowest point. So if you guys don't know, I suffer with bipolar, and I didn't know this at the time. I was just diagnosed with depression and anxiety, and I was literally at the lowest of the low you could even think of. And at that time I was self-harming and stuff, and basically my dad, instead of being somewhat supportive and sympathetic towards me, and I apologize for that noise, it's just really windy today. But instead of being really supportive and, showing that he cared and, like, I didn't need to feel that way, he actually told me if I was going to cut my wrists to make sure I did it deep enough to end my life. And that will forever stick with me. So, for the last couple of years, that's always been in my mind, And I actually got asked by somebody recently, like, why do you still live with him? So there is a couple of reasons why I still live with my dad. One of the reasons is I want my family home, and if I move out, he has more of an excuse to sell the house, and basically move somewhere where it's a 1-bedroom. So that's one of the reasons. 2, I just feel more secure, having an older person live with me. And 3, the way I look at it, I'm like, you're not going to get that time back with your parents, and when they do pass, the first thing you're going to remember, is all the things that you could have done and you didn't do. So that's another way I've sort of put up with him for as long as I have. So, anytime we have an argument, I try not to let it get to me, and I try looking at it like, when he passes, this is the thing I'm going to miss the most, is him arguing with me about stupid things. So that way it sort of, like, plays off in my mind, like, it's not as bad as it sounds. So, but yeah, honestly, this year he has just literally been always on me, and, like, I help my dad with his work. Like, if you guys didn't know, I do roofing with him, and the majority of the time it's me doing all the work. But obviously with my foot and stuff, I can't really do it at the moment, and he just doesn't seem to understand that aspect. So, like, he has 2 roofing jobs that need to be done in the next couple of days, and because I can't do it, he has just been trying to emotionally manipulate me or blackmail me into doing it. So, like, he says, we need to do these jobs, I need you to help me with them, because if not, we're not going to be able to afford the council tax, the gas, the electric, all of that. So you either help me with this job or you're homeless. So that's the kind of mindset my dad has, and as you can imagine, it's kind of distressing. So I actually went to my doctor's recently because I had to have a blood test done, and the time before that I had, which was a month ago, I actually had my bloods done as well, and they do all the routine checks with blood pressure, all that sort of stuff. And the first time I went, I had extremely high blood pressure, and that was literally because I had an argument with my dad half an hour before. And the second time I went, basically my dad had gone away for the weekend with his friends, so it was pretty much stress-free, and it showed in my blood pressure because they couldn't work out like why did it drop so much from being like extremely high to being relatively normal. And obviously they asked me like, oh, are you doing anything different, and I literally explained like, nope, not anything different. The only thing that's different is my dad's not here. So it proved to me that my dad is one of my bigger factors of what's probably causing a lot of my health issues. So yeah. Anyways, so I hope you guys don't necessarily hate me for the fact that I'm only making 2 cards. But like I said, I just feel like there's no point in me making him a card because 1, he doesn't appreciate it, and 2, he just doesn't deserve it. But anyways, so I don't know where the die came from. Somebody gifted this to me a while ago and I've never gotten around to using it, so I finally bought some pattern paper called Sea Waves, and that is off TEMU. I just loved all the different color waves. So yeah, and you can see I'm doing 2 different types. So we have the one with the orange, and now it's supposed to be the other way around. So the orange is supposed to be the waves and the blue is supposed to be the sky, but I thought it looked better the opposite way. But I did notice something that I mistaked at the end where it says father, it just said fathers, and I missed the S off. So I come back in with one at the very end, like the day after, so you don't see that, but in the pictures you will see it. So I'm using Scripty Happy and Scripty Birthday, and then just cutting off the birth part, and then just using the father. So I do need to get some more dies with the sentiments of like Father's Day, Mother's Day, that sort of thing, because I don't really have anything, and I seem to use the same ones over and over again. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy. This is part of the hop that I organized, so if you want to see everybody else's creations, go over to Instagram and check out the hashtag, which is National Holidays. So I think it's National June Holidays Hop 2024. And yeah, we'll be doing another one. So the next hop date I remember for this one is, I have no clue. Like my mind's just gone. So I think it's on the 20th. Yeah, 20th of June. So it's National Vanilla Milkshake Day. So that's the next hop that we're going to be doing. So, but let me know down in my comments which one is your favorite. Personally, I like the gray more. I don't know why, but I also did cut off the top portion of the gray card, so they are a different size. I wanted to see if it looked better with me adding those 2 little extra bits or not, and personally I think they both look great. So let me know down in my comments which one's your favorite. I apologize if I've upset anybody because I know some people may not have a father, but this is just basically my personal experience this year, and yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next week.